Good evening, sir. Thanks very much for your time. Let's start with the very last issue. You did meet with the AIC last week, and I believe you have come to an arrangement that satisfies both parties.
Yes, indeed. We had a meeting with the AIC recently. But before I come to that kind of a point, you will recall that after the signing of Code of Conduct on the 28th of this month, the three parties were called to come forward for the toss drawing, where it was indicated by the AIC that the party which got the highest numbers will retain its position in the ballot paper. Of course, we were of the view that the African Independent Congress is going to retain its position at number 6 or number 5 in the ballot paper. But the following Sunday, after the signing of the Code of Conduct, we saw the specimen of your ballot paper doing rounds in social media. That is when we wrote a letter to the AIC.
I don't want us to eat on your time for like talking about your party and what it's about.
Yes.
If you don't mind me saying, can you then tell us whether you've resolved the matter?
No, definitely we have resolved the matter because...
So now, because what your concerns did were to hold up the AIC, because it could not go ahead and procure ballot papers before your issue was resolved. But now that it has been resolved to the satisfaction of both of you, I think that's where we should leave it.
Yes.
Now, let's come back to how you surprised everyone in the last election from nowhere. The ANC still insists, and of course the research that was done by the IEC itself seemed to back this view that there is confusion, or there could be confusion among voters looking at your logos and the fact that you were close to one another. But you've said this repeatedly, but that's not the reason you were voted for. Came from nowhere to actually have the kind of representation that you had. What, in your view, attracted the people who voted for you to your party?
You will recall, Vuyo, that when we formed the African Independent Congress in December 2005, we registered this organization with the IEC, and it was we received our certificate from the IEC 3 weeks before the local government elections of March 2006. And you will recall that we contested that local municipality, and we managed to get 10 seats in that particular municipality. Second,
so you reckon the Matatiele issue, where you set up this, formed this party primarily to take up the issue of Matatiele and reincorporation, you reckon that gave you that sort of solid foundation, which you then took to the national?
Yes, definitely, because you will recall that in 2009 as well, we targeted your Eastern Cape provincial legislature elections, where we managed to get 1 seat there. And the other thing that we want to correct in the minds of the people is for them to think that the African Independent Congress was formed because of your demarcation. That is not true. The truth of the matter is that when we voted in 1994, voting for this democracy, we thought we were voting for a democracy that will benefit the people, more especially the ordinary people, the poorest of the poor.
What is your offering then? In other words, what did you offer the people of South Africa who voted for you in the last election?
Yes.
And what are you offering? What are you offering them now?
No, what we are offering the people of South Africa is that it is high time that the people must claim back their power. They must not allow a situation or continue to allow a situation where the Lumpen politicians, through their political parties, will continue to undermine them. Remember, the people who are voting in these elections are the ordinary poorest of the poor masses of this country. But when it comes to service delivery, the people are not being given those services. Some of the decisions.
So service delivery is one issue.
Service delivery.
What are the two other issues?
The other two, which we feel and we believe is very, very important, is the question of your provinces. We don't need 9 provinces in this country because it is chowing.
Do away with provinces.
Do away with the provinces because it is clear in our minds in the African Independent Congress that we are reverting back to your Bantustan kind of a system where you will have Eastern Cape for the Xhosas, KwaZulu-Natal for the Zulus, Free State for the Sothos. Let's do away with that kind of an arrangement. Save that money. Say, for instance, each province is getting 2 billion each financial year. Times 9, how much is being wasted? What is the work, the job of the premiers and their executives, except to cut red ribbons? Save that money. Allocate that money to your local municipalities because that is where the services are needed. That is where the poorest of the poor masses of this country are found, at your local level, at your local municipal level. And we are saying as well, do away with your district municipalities because they do nothing except duplicating what is being done by your local municipalities. And we say recognize the traditional institutions because these leaders are divine leaders, are not being voted for. If you want to develop the rural communities, you can't do that living outside your traditional or royal institutions.
That's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Thanks very much for coming through. The African Independent Congress leader, Mandla Galo.